Hello, welcome to my channel or welcome back. My name is Alyssa and today I just wanted to talk about what I am going to be panning for the next year. So if that sounds interesting and you want to know what is this makeup panning and more about it, then please keep watching. If you're new to project panning, I feel like what happens with a lot of hobbies is that you get really invested into it and you kind of go all in, and then you're kind of thinking, whoa, now I have a lot of stuff going on. And with makeup, it's a very fun hobby. There's a lot of pretty stuff. There's constantly new stuff coming out because, let's say about a little over 10 years ago, there was new stuff coming out, but it was, a little bit more slow. Like when there was a new ABH palette, it was once a year or so, and when they started to do more than that, it was like, whoa, there's another palette already? Like, wow, that's amazing, So it was kind of like that. And with there being so much out there, we have now, not just makeup haul videos, but then you have people who are decluttering their collection or doing these reviews of all the blushes and all the palettes and all the things, all the collections. And, there's a lot going on. So on my channel, I don't try to declutter a ton of makeup. Basically, I'm trying to be just the normal person that I am, okay? Like, I have a decent amount of eyeshadow. It's not maybe as big as some people, but for me, I feel like I've hit my limit of what I would like to own. And so that helps keep me from wanting to buy all the new stuff because I know that, I can't reasonably get through all of this before it's going to go bad. And so I'm trying to, think critically about my collection and find fun ways to play with it so that, because you'd be like, oh, well, it's a hobby. It's supposed to be fun. So of course you're going to be, like, what do you mean you have to make it fun? It's not that putting on makeup is a chore. My husband will often be like, well, you don't have to put on makeup. You could use that time for something else. It's like, yes, but it's almost a calming type of thing. It's a chance to be creative and think about, that's sometimes almost the reason I do some of these projects is because when it comes to actually putting the makeup on my eyes and it's, oh, gosh, what color should I do? Because this look would be pretty, and then this look, I could do these colors, or I could do this type of thing. And it's just like, whoo, I don't know. I need help focusing. And so if it's like, well, you know what? Right now I am trying to use these eyeshadows, so maybe I will make, this kind of look, and then maybe tomorrow I'll make one of those other looks. There's always more eyeshadow looks that I want to do, more interesting, concepts or things. Like, I'm always inspired just by seeing other people do it or just by my collection. And, it can be hard because it's like I only have, you could say I have two eyes, so I could do two looks, but I already get enough people looking at me funny. I feel like I would get a lot more, and I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. So I'm going to stick with my normal of one eyeshadow look on each. I can't usually do multiple eyeshadow looks in a day. When I remove the makeup, my eyes tend to get irritated and really watery if I do even just more than one. Sometimes I'm okay, but I have noticed the days that my eyes were extra watery were often days when I, maybe did a look in the morning and then, came home and did, another look later because I was, did a workout or whatever, So I like to use the makeup project panning of, trying to use up my products in a way to help me figure out what my looks are going to be, almost just to keep it easy, because it's like, okay, right, I have 10 eyeshadow palettes that I could use. How do I decide which one and then which shadows, within those palettes? So, okay, I am working on trying to pan this palette. So can I do something, what am I interested in using from this today? Oh, I also am trying to use those colors, or I'm trying to use that blush. These colors will work well with that, and I try to kind of make a look based on that. So for me, works like that. It's just like I'm the type of person who is a checklist person. I make checklists all the time for myself. Like, each week I'm thinking about the different chores that I need to do, for the week. And I'm, scheduling them out for myself. Like, okay, Monday, I'm going to make sure that I get the groceries done. And Tuesday is when I'm, vacuuming and and that kind of thing. And even if I might decide to like change it up a little bit, maybe instead, Monday I vacuum. It's still that those are the things that have to get done. And then I actually feel excited too if I get something done early. It's like, ooh, like I did that before I was planning on it, and I feel extra good. So it's kind of like that with the makeup too, where, it's like, oh, like I hit pan. I've been using this eyeshadow enough times or this blush enough times that, I can see the bottom of the product. And I know that it's still going to take me a lot longer to use it up, so I don't have to feel sad. And then the other thing is, another thing my husband would be like, why are you trying to hit pan? What is this whole concept? And it's like, well, I spent this money. I want to make sure that, it was worth the money, that I am actually using these things and they're not just sitting there, and if I'm kind of keeping track of how often I'm using stuff, because sometimes I think I'm using a product all the time that, it's like, oh, I had just gotten it. I was using it up a storm. It's going to have pans any day now. And then I look and I realize, hey, I thought I used that a bunch, but I really only used it like 3 or 4 times. And it was, maybe 3 or 4 times within a week. And so that felt like a lot. But then I kind of paused on it because it's like, oh, no, I shouldn't. I should make sure I'm using other things. So it kind of helps me see that sometimes I think I'm using something a lot, but I'm not really, and the fact that it's going to take so long, like I said, to use up these items, I probably won't use them up. And so sometimes it's not necessarily about using them up completely before they go bad, or maybe even before my tastes change, but getting that money's worth and, feeling like I am making use of everything. I don't necessarily need a lot of eyeshadow to get impact. Like most of the stuff I'm using is good quality, very pigmented, things like that. I'm very light colored. So if I just kind of dip a little bit into an eyeshadow and go to put it on my eyes, I'm kind of good to go. I don't necessarily need to go back in for more. So that means it's going to take me a lot longer to use up some items. And, that's fine. It's still sort of is that, product providing some use for me that, I would be missing out on if I didn't have it? And am I still using it a lot of times? Like those are all the things that matter. So when I'm talking about all these projects that I'm doing, this is why I do all this, project panning. Like even before I knew all about, all the things people were doing. Like I knew some people who were doing project panning, but I was still kind of on the side, doing random, let me draw in some eyeshadows to focus on and try to use them, so many times, or hit pan, and I was kind of doing that even before I was watching all this content on YouTube. And, it's fun also just to go and follow other people doing it and cheer them on. So like doing projects that other people are doing, it's, fun that way too. So now let me talk about the makeup panning projects that I'm going to be doing in 2026. So the first one I'm going to continue on is my lip products project. That one, it's not really anything super complicated. I'm just every month measuring, like weighing my products and seeing how much have I used. And I am trying to make sure I am, cycling through, and I'm using some of these other projects and things in order to do that. But, I know that it seems like on average I use about 2 grams, per month. So I would like to stick with that unless I start to switch to, if I was using all regular lipsticks, like the bullet type, and lip pencils and all, and not really using glosses or balms, then the usage is going to go down because those take a lot longer to have the weight change. But, if my collection is about what it is right now, then, that's the thing I want to do. And I like doing it because it makes sure that I am actually continuing to wear these items, that if I had a month that was less, then I could look back and be like, whoa, what's happening? Am I not wearing lip stuff? Should I make sure that I am definitely not buying any new, lip products for a while because things are just sitting, because that wouldn't be good. I let myself buy more in 2025 than I was thinking I would get, but I was actually going through items, so that was kind of why I let myself do it. But, we're going to see in 2026 if that was a good idea, because I have, a lot of those products still. It's really, I keep mixing up product and project. All right, another project that we'll be continuing is All Eyeshadows on Deck, and that one was started in September of 2025. And my whole idea was, again, every month I'm coming back and updating you on how much eyeshadow I've used, because like I said, I have a lot of eyeshadows, and I mean, I have a small enough number that I could wear one every single day for a year and still have, extra days left. Like, I don't have more than 365 eyeshadows, but I would like to cut my collection down more. I would actually kind of like it to be under 300, I think, which that's still a lot, but I'm just thinking about the fact that, to get that means I have to, I think, use up like 18 or 19 eyeshadows, which is a lot, or declutter them or something. I'd rather not have to just be decluttering things. I don't want my makeup going bad. But yeah, so that was kind of something I've been thinking about when there's the Black Friday sales and all these other sales and clearances, and that would be really tempting to get an eyeshadow, or I could put one on my Christmas wish list or something like that. But then it's like, no, because even if, I have the money or it's a present or something, it's a good deal. It's still more stuff coming in. That means that now I'm going to have fewer days to wear these other eyeshadows that I really like and am excited about. So, I need to kind of put blinders on a bit of like, no, I don't need that rainbow palette, because I do have rainbow colors, and I'm happy with those rainbow colors. Like, those might be better and it's a good deal, but let me go ahead and use these more. And at some point they're going to need to be replaced or something, or I'll use them, whatever. Then there will be another rainbow palette out there, or some other thing that I'm, thinking of. And it might even be better quality, because honestly, the makeup quality, it's only gone up from when I was young, but then even in the last 10 years or so. So, you don't need to have like this, like, oh, I have to buy it right now. So my All Eyeshadows on Deck. And just, I guess I didn't say, I'm using every eyeshadow in my collection 10 times. And I don't know how long it'll take me. I'm just going to, every month, check in, and I let you know like how many I have finished off, with those 10 uses. I also am going to be continuing Project Level Up Light Edition, because I only have a few more palettes to use. I might bring in the Pacific Northwest one then as like a final thing, but I don't know. I might not. I'm gonna see, like, once I finish the other older palettes, kind of see how I've been using it, and if it feels like it's had a lot of uses recently, then maybe it's fine, and we'll just, kind of end the project at that point, because then I would have done all of my palettes at some point with that project. But that's the whole, like, you're on a level and you're using all the eyeshadows that number of times of the level, and certain eyeshadows I use 10 times each then instead. So, but yeah, I'm almost done my palettes. Expand those pans. I've kind of gone back and forth a little bit because I don't have as many pans, and I'm kind of running out of pans that I haven't used already in this project. And obviously, like, I could keep going with them, but we're gonna see. So that's the whole, I bring in 3 eyeshadows at a time. I use them 10 times each, and the eyeshadows already have the pan showing. That's the whole idea, that I'm expanding it. So we're, for now, it's going to hang around, but it might be like the Project Level Up where I might kind of wrap it up unless I start hitting a bunch more pans. But right now I haven't been hitting as many pans. So, you know, maybe I need to do something instead that's going to allow me to hit more pans. I'm not sure what that would be yet, but that might be something that I'm adding on at some point this year. I am going to continue Project Nailopoly or some other nail type of thing. For the nail stuff, it's more just making sure I'm rotating through my collection in a fun way. So the Project Nailopoly has a game board that you go through, and that's fun. The game board, as of when I'm filming this, has not been updated for, well, it was just the first edition and there hasn't been an update. So I don't know if I will keep going for much longer with the same board because it, you know, I'm going to start to just hit the same spaces over and over again. I might create some other type of nail project for myself, you know, maybe having myself, you know, pick a few at a time and doing so many uses. I don't know, just I'll have to think about it. Depends on how I'm feeling. But for now, like that's updated once a month. And then Expand Those Pans is also about once a month. And then finally, Deck of Panning is also one that I plan on continuing, but that's if Emily of Emily and Max continues it because she's the one who runs the board and all of that and updates it. So can't really do it if she stopped doing it. So yeah, if she doesn't, then, you know, maybe I'll start like a Project 10 Uses or something else where I'm kind of, because I like using that project to like roll in lip products, nail polish, pigments, like just random stuff that's not just eyeshadow. So yeah, those are all the projects that I have in mind to be doing for 2026. Oh, and I'm sorry, of course, Pan That palette. I'm still working on my Stone Vibes palette. I started it in 2025 to continue for 2026, just, you know, until I feel like it's not good quality anymore, or I've hit a wall, something like that. But yeah, I'm just trying to use up as much of it as I can. And for 2025, I also had a Finish 5 in 2025 that I was doing. And I don't have plans for anything like that for 2026. Like there were certain products that I really wanted to finish up. And so, you know, having kind of done that, I'm, you know, just going to try to be using the other things a little bit more naturally, maybe. So, you know, that's why I'm like, maybe a Project 10 Uses or something like that might be good for me then to, you know, fill in the gap if Deck of Panning doesn't continue and with the finished part being done for me. So yeah, that is my whole reasons that I pan and do these projects and which projects I want to do. So if there's a certain project that you think would be good for me, then you can let me know. If you have an idea for a project or if you're starting one and, you know, you want someone to team up with you, then, you know, maybe I can do that. But yeah, hopefully this was interesting. If you know, want to be nosy about why I do it and what I'm going to be doing. And until my next video, I hope you'll be doing well, and I'll see you then. Bye!